Well, no doubt is Easter period. We'll be looking at Easter festivity and the reason for Easter. Let's not forget that mothers have a role to play, particularly talking to the children, talking parenting. So that's exactly what we're going to discuss now. And let's leave Easter and time to heal for the last, saving the best for the last. And for this topic, we'll be looking at single parenting, effect on the child. And to do justice to this topic, it's no other person but Ladi Idula, the founder, Single Mother and Child Initiative. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
Good morning and happy Easter in advance.
Happy Easter to you too.
Yeah. It's not unconnected to the festive period, but let's look at the issue of single mother parenting. Some say it's a cause. A lot of people say as a single mother is a taboo. Single motherhood. Tell us about single motherhood.
Single motherhood. In those days, it was like a taboo. But in the present situation and circumstances to find ourselves, it has become something that is part of the society now, and we cannot shy away from it. For so many reasons, a lot of women suddenly, without planning for it, find themselves as single mothers. How do they become single mothers? There are cases of failed relationships. There are cases of failed marriage. Sometimes there's case of even imprisonment. The man goes into a crime and he gets maybe life sentence. Definitely the wife has become a single mother. There are cases of death. And so many things are coming up. And then we have cases of maybe some young girls who have relationship and they take in by mistake. They have a child. Sometimes the man responsible is not even ready to accept responsibility. And so she becomes a single mother. So there are so many reasons why single motherhood has become a trend. It's something that is really reigning, and that's why we have to now give it attention, because we cannot continue to shy away from the truth. It's an everyday occurrence. And when you go around, you speak to ladies, sometimes even you go to the markets, most of those women making here there, you speak to them, many of them are alone, taking care of their children. So it has become something we must talk about. We must look at how to support them to be able to raise responsible children. And that's the topic you are talking about today, is raising children, parenting children as a single mother. What is parenting? Parenting is that action, deliberate action of guiding, providing emotional, financial, even spiritual support for a child, right from childhood to adulthood. You give them every support, ideas for their development, so that when they grow up, they become responsible citizens of their community and their country. So parenting is a very, very important role. And traditionally in Africa, parenting is the responsibility of two people. Okay. Two people are responsible, the man and the woman, as the husband and the mother. That is what we grew up to know. And in some situations, even when there is problem, you hear that the woman has decided to stay for the sake of her children. It means a lot. A lot of women in olden days stayed for the sake of their children, because when you leave the parenting to one person, it's a lot of responsibility. So many things can go wrong. But in modern times, you find out that endurance for ladies is not there for so many other reasons. You find out divorces are coming up a lot, and some even opt to become single mothers. There are some ladies who chose not to go into marriage for their own personal reasons. They know, and they know that they can cope, and they opt for it. So it's something that we can't shy away from. Some people may choose to become a single mother. For instance, if a lady is about 30 something and maybe she doesn't have anybody that wants to marry her, she's thinking that her time, the woman's, timing, as in maybe she's getting to that age, she's thinking of maybe she'll enter menopause or something like that, and she can decide to have a child whom she can conveniently take care of. So you find that there are so many reasons why single parenting has come up today, but it's a lot of challenge, both for the woman and for the child.
A lot of
Yeah.
people say the society frown at single parenting,
Yeah.
and because of that, we've seen marriages where either from the male folk or from the woman is suffering, and she's of the opinion that what will people say, and decide to stay there. Most
Yes.
times they die in that process.
Yes,
Most
that's
time a
what
lot
I
of
just
things
told
happen.
you.
Yeah. So should it be like that? Do we continue in that process or system where because the society frowns at it? Or what will people say if I leave? So I just have to stay and endure.
Just like I told you, I say in those days, it was more rampant that people stay. But there's so much enlightenment these days. You find that some women, in those days, some of them did not have the resources actually to even say they will leave the marriage, no matter
Okay.
how bad it is. But now, a lot of women are empowered. They know that they can cope on their own. And so that urge to stay there and die, there's a lot of enlightenment. With the social media, you see a lot of stories, things that you were not aware of before. So people are more informed that instead of staying there, let me move and be alive to be mother of that child instead of staying in that marriage and dying there. And so that's one of the reasons why we are having more cases of single parenting. Yeah. And as we're having more cases of single parenting, there is also a lot of information out there that can be useful for such women, that can make them successful parents. I mean, successful parent to that child, whether the man is supporting or not, you know. And so I think there should be a lot of information too, enlightening ladies. If you know that this marriage is not going to work, if it's going to take your life, or this relationship is even bad for the child, because a relationship where the man and the man are fighting every day, it's not good for the upbringing of the children involved. So it is better they separate peacefully, have an arrangement, visitation, all those arrangements are put in place so that one of them can concentrate. Sometimes it could be the man, though in our country it's not so common to have a single father,
Father.
but we have few cases
Okay.
compared to some other countries. But we do have some cases of single fathers too.
Okay.
So because sometimes a woman can just get up. We have cases of a woman who just get up from the marriage, she just leaves and leaves the man just to suddenly to start taking care of the children alone. It's happening.
Okay.
So single parenthood is a big problem for, just like I said, for the parents and for the children. But just like you said, I think we are concentrating on the children now,
Yeah.
the effect on the child.
Okay.
It's a lot of effect on the child, because naturally a child that is in a marriage, for instance, was born in a married home, suddenly one day the parents have to pack. As it's affecting the woman, it's affecting the man, it's affecting the children too. But most of the time we are looking at only the mother. The children are deeply affected emotionally, psychologically. Even when you talk of the financial aspect, they are affected too. And if this separation or motherhood, if it's not properly handled, we have problem for the society. What do I mean? We look at it from the financial aspect first. Going to school, the two parents were contributing their quota to make sure that the child attends good school, provide for the needs, books, wears, uniform, all those things. Suddenly, only one person is doing that. She doesn't have enough resources to cope. And so gradually, you see the standard of that child dropping. Maybe he now becomes somebody who is at the right time. The school sends him home. Sometimes he doesn't want to go home, or when they are sending him home, he's ashamed. So instead of going to the class to be chased out of the class, you find them hanging. They leave home and loiter around. And that is where they can easily get tempted to join bad gangs. So these are some of the problems that are coming out of single parenting. The financial, the lack of finances affects them that way. Gradually, you find that there are more cases of children who are not performing well in school. When you check, many of them are from single parents, because even in the class, the child is disturbed psychologically, but he's not able to talk. Some of them cannot speak out, and there's some in the process of when they even want to speak out, they may go to talk to their peers instead of going to their parents, instead of going to their mother. Mommy, this is what's happening to me. Sometimes the child is feeling for the money.
Mm.
He sees what is happening. He sees how his mother is struggling. So instead of opening up to the mother, he opens up to some peer. Sometimes he might be talking to the wrong peer. And so you have some influence. Sometimes maybe he's in a boarding house, he has a college father or something. They begin to see that person as a confidant. They open up, and that one's okay, take this tablet.
Yeah.
You will sleep better. Take this tablet, you forget your problem. Drug abuse has set in. So these are some of the negative things that
Effects.
can come out of single parenthood if not properly managed. And then some of them will even drop out eventually. We've seen cases of criminals in Lagos, young boys. By the time they arrest them, where are you from? Oh, I came all the way from Oyo. You came alone. Okay, where is your mother? My mother and my father are separated. My mother has remarried. That's another issue. When the mother decides to have a relationship with somebody else, sometimes the children are not happy about it. So there's that. Some of them can even leave home and run away. These are some of the problems you realize in the society as a result of single parenthood. Then you find they are disturbed, you see them withdrawing, they're emotionally disturbed, psychologically disturbed, and you see them being aggressive. Some of them even feel guilty. Okay, maybe it's me. It's my bet that disturbed my parents. It's my bet. It's when I came in, I had elder sister, I had elder brother. Why was there no problem in that marriage? Why is it that when they gave birth to me, that's when this problem came up? And so they come up with all sort of characters that, if they're not properly checked, they grow up like that. So you now see that even in terms of discipline, it takes two to
Tango.
bring up a child
Yeah.
properly. Now you have that a woman alone is now in charge of disciplining the child. Sometimes a child needs a father figure. Child needs a father figure who you will always say, oh, I will tell your daddy, and he will sit up, he will do the proper thing. So when there is no man in the house, it's not easy for the woman. You can try to discipline them. If a woman finds herself in that situation, she has to find father figure for that child. Every child needs a father and a mother figure. Now, if you have such a situation, you must have some relative, maybe male, your elder brothers or cousins, who can play that role, who can checkmate that child from going out of order. So these are some of the things that a woman who finds herself as a single mother has to look at.
For other climes internationally,
Yeah.
we have seen scenarios where they have roles to play. Could that be
Come again?
applicable international climes,
Yeah.
other maybe countries? Issue of single parenting, we have states, I mean, the government coming to play a role.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, do we have a scenario where that happens?
Yes, that's what we are. There is child rights, but the Child Rights Act has not given so much attention to a child being raised by a single parent. And so, we are developing, we're coming up with the issues. Let's see how government can be more involved with issues of children that are being raised by single parents, but because they are on the increase. Just like you said, in some other countries, in countries like US, for instance, I think is in March, they just marked their National Single Parenting Day.
Oh,
Because of the
interesting.
importance, I think it's March 14th or something like that. They have a national day for single parents because of the importance of single parenting. It's a day that the people are supposed to, empathize with them, give support to them, and discuss issues around that. So it's time for our government to, and that's one of the reasons why we are having this kind of program to raise awareness that we have this problem that unconsciously we are not looking at, but it's time for us to start talking about it because it's increasing by the day, and the problem is facing us, whether we like it or not.
Do you feel or see, sense the issue of discrimination?
Yeah, there is. And that's one of the problems I told you about, that the children grow up, they have psychological problem. Some of their mates will even taunt them. Apart from their mates, we even have cases of women abusing other people's children. You hear them say, "You this bastard."
Hmm.
Maybe because they see the mother is a single mother, without knowing her story. I've had such cases. They will abuse a child and say, "You this bastard." It's a very bad language.
Hmm.
Those are languages that can make the child grow up with so much hatred for the society. So such languages should be discouraged. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes, there should be even punishment for anybody that tries to stigmatize them in any way, because they are not responsible for what happened to them. They were born like any child. So I think there should be more awareness so that such children are not stigmatized at all.
And in the area where you're having a difficult talking finances,
Mm.
how would you want stakeholders and the federal government to come into action?
Yeah. In that area now, we have a lot, some single mothers. Some of them just need very little money to start a business or a trade. Do you understand? Some people as
Yeah.
little as 20,000, maybe to start frying akara, pop or something like something to start off the business. We have a lot of intervention programs, family support programs that the federal government is doing. I think they should lay a lot of emphasis, and we should have organizations that coordinate women, especially single mothers, in such a way that they can benefit from such government intervention for the poor. You see that among single mothers, you have the widows.
Yeah.
Widows are more taken care of.
Okay.
There are also single mothers, we
Yeah.
consider them, but they always have better advantage because people look at them, oh, the husband is dead. People support them, the church organizations help them. But those who are out of marriage, incidentally, people look at them as, oh, she's wayward, she can't stay in that marriage. The opposite is the case.
Hmm.
People don't know, people don't even bother to know what led to the
Transpired.
yes, and that's one of the problems they have. Nobody is there to help them. They struggle, and it's a lot. Psychologically, they themselves are already disturbed. Having to raise a child alone, and then the stigmatization from the society. This is like 3 bullets on one person. We don't call it double barrel again, just like 3 on only one person, and she has to cope and take care of that child. So I think government should help. Even some of them, you find cases of a single mother brings up a child, and when the child grows up, she doesn't even get job for that child.
Hmm.
So she's still in square one. We've seen cases like that. So even up to the case of employment, I think there should be quota for children that were raised by single mothers as a way of encouraging the mothers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They shouldn't, a woman shouldn't stress herself to go that far, train a child, and then the child finish, she cannot get job. They are still in square one. We have so many people like that reporting in our NGO that they have children, they have school start holder, they want to go forward, they can't. So government intervention programs, there should be programs that will be focused on single mothers or the existing ones. Let's see how you can organize single mother associations that they can benefit, coordinate them.
That leaves me with a question with the Ministry of Women Affairs. And a lot of
Yeah.
people keep asking, what is the ministry doing towards this area? What would you score them? What would be your rating from, let's say, 0 to 100? Are they doing enough regarding women issues like this?
So far, women affairs are trying, but I know that not much, nothing. I don't even see anything being focused on women that are single mothers. There is support for women association, women empowerment. There are so many empowerment programs going on, but I want more attention to be given to this caliber of women. What is the reason? My reason is this: they don't lack only money or financial resources. Some of them already have psychological, they need
Emotional trauma.
psychological support. They already have a psychological trauma. So they are a special case which people are not even so much aware of. Some of them, you see them transferring the aggression on the children unnecessarily. And so there are so many effects, and they should be given a lot of attention. That's what I think. So Women Affairs has done so much. There is a lot of awareness among women. A lot of women are coming up. They're supporting so many women associations and children too. But I am using this forum to please appeal to them to please begin to give attention to single mothers too.
Before we round up, how do we correct the issue of stigmatization?
Mm. One of the ways of correcting stigmatization is advocacy. Just like we are talking now,
Yeah.
we are letting the public know
No.
that instead of stigmatizing a single woman, you don't even need story, because most of this time the story is bad to her. She knows no woman wants to become just live a marriage. You go in with love, with so much dream,
Yeah.
then suddenly something happens. It's always a bad story. Whatever the cause of that dissolution of the marriage, or whatever made a young girl to make mistake and have a child, already she's disturbed for the fact that the person responsible has refused to help her. Psychologically, she's already disturbed. So I think we should stop advocacy. People should be made to know that instead of stigmatizing them, they should sympathize with them. And in the case of a single girl, for instance, that takes in some societies, the family will just disown her. It shouldn't be. If a child makes that kind of mistake, please, the family should support her. Take that child, let the child go back to school or learn a trade so that she can stay on her own. She can rebuild her life. She can marry successfully. We've seen so many cases. So that a daughter takes him by mistake, it's not the end of her life. Doesn't mean she's going to be a useless person to the society. If the family supports her, she will become great again. Even the child too will grow up very well if the family supports. So advocacy, enlightenment, that's one of the major ways of letting people know we have to move from that old idea that, oh, she took him outside wedlock and you see her as a bad child. No, sometimes it's a mistake, sometimes it's even very innocent. Some of those girls were even raped by even family members and they can't speak. Some of them cannot speak. They actually know who is responsible for that child, but they are afraid. Maybe until when they grow up, then you know that it's maybe it's the mother's brother that was responsible for that thing, or the father's brother, the uncle, was responsible for that pregnancy that she went through so much torture. So please, I think we should just continue to speak about it. Even for the media houses, I think you should have more programs.
Okay.
We see how we can collaborate with other stakeholders, with Ministry of Health, UNICEF, all agencies that can deal with children issues and women issues, and see how this issue can be on the front burner in Nigeria so that we can reduce this issue of stigmatization. If you reduce it, these women who find themselves single mothers, they'll have more confidence to come up. When you try to talk to some people are not even bold enough to own up to the fact that they are single mothers. And so I'm using this opportunity. If you know you're a single mother, you have done it successfully, come out and encourage the younger ones who find themselves in that position. You should be able to train or help them to know how to survive, how to sustain the family. And then for the single mothers outside there, I advise them to go online. There are so many sites you can go and Google, look at issues. If you have issue with your child, read it up. There are ideas. There are other people in other countries who have had similar experience and they can guide you on want to go. So it shouldn't be a thing of stigmatization again. It should be something people can discuss openly. I think that way will be able to reduce the stigmatization. If single mothers are able to come out boldly and say, yes, I'm a single mother, or I have been there, I have been then other people will be encouraged. Then that stigma naturally will die.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
think a lot of people will have a sign of relief with this particular advocacy and awareness. I really have not seen this, rampant. It's not much. A lot has been said, talking widows, and a lot of it. But single motherhood, people shy away from it.
Yes.
In fact, I saw a post on Facebook where somebody came out publicly. He said, I don't envy people who are single mothers. Single mothers are this, was pouring a lot of insult. And a lady came out and debunked what he said. He said, in fact, I'm a product of a single mother.
Okay.
My mother brought me up. She is actually a celebrity as we speak, but it's not as if we are making it look like a scenario where you can avoid, not being married and, want to keep the marriage institution and have kids, it's not as if we're saying no, it's
Yes,
not
so
to
that's
go.
one of the
If it's
things I was going
possible,
to say.
yes,
Actually, it's not just negative.
yes,
There are advantages of being raised by a single mother.
yeah,
For instance, there is closer bond between you and that child,
mhm,
because most of the time you are with them, you give so much attention to them because you know you are not the only one responsible. So on the long run, there is closer bond. You can bring up that child very well. Then instead of having a situation where you're arguing with your husband about how to take care of the child and all those things, discipline the child, you know you are squarely responsible. And so you work double to make sure that this child does not mess up. Do you understand? Because if the child goes wrong, they will say, oh, it's because of her mother, because she's a single woman. So that consciousness is there in most single mothers. You want to bring out. So I think there is also advantage,
yeah.
It's not
Thank you.
totally
My
bad.
producer is saying you have to round off. If he leaves me, I will still talk
Honestly.
about this. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank
Well, we've
you.
been talking about single parenting effects on the child, and our guests in the studio, Ladi Idola, the founder, Single Mother and Child Initiative. I
Thank
must say
you.
thank you, and I've also learned so much from this. So from here, I will also go out to advocate and
Yes,
create more
please,
awareness
please do.
on it.